All right, Jesse on fire. Welcome back to the channel. All right, we got a couple topics. I'm going to try to keep this light because I'm going live tonight. You heard that right. I'm going live tonight for the fight night with Qatar and Ing, however you pronounce it. Like, who made that name? Like, they're like, all right, so your last name is going to be IGE or IGL. I don't even. And they're like, how's that pronounced? They're like, don't worry about how it's pronounced. Come on, man. Don't get all technical on us. That's your name. Now go run along. Have a life, have some kids so that your great grandkid can fight in the UFC and entertain Jesse on fire. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to go live. We're going to watch that. But today, this particular video is going to be about two things. Number one, we're going to talk about the report that Dana White said they're losing $110 million absent the gate over 2020, but that they're still crushing it. Okay, so I'll touch on that. And then we're going to talk about the 135 pound and 145 pound division and who's going to get the next title shot, because the answer is has one answer that could be for either. Okay, which is throwing a monkey wrench in there because there's complexity. You would think it was simple. As a matter of fact, let's just start there. We're going to start there right after I say this. How about you subscribe to the channel, you ring the bell, all those things. I know that you're probably getting, suggesting my videos. Here's the thing, all of them are going to be this good. So better than just having it suggested to you at this point, subscribe and ring the bell, and then you'll know right when I upload them. I promise they're always this good, okay? I may never be as good looking as I am right now. I deteriorate. I don't know where that joke was going, okay? I'm never going to deteriorate. I will always look this good, always. Anyway, so subscribe, ring the bell, like the videos, comment, all those things. All of my current subscribers, thank you guys very much. You guys are crushing it for me, and I love you for that. Anyway, all right, so here's the thing. So 135 pound division, let's start there. So Peter Yan is the champion, right? Like I said in another video, it's kind of weird almost because there's so much talent at 135 where you're like, it's hard to even pick a champion because I want to see what Cody does against Yan. I want to see what Aljamain Sterling does against Yan or Moraes. There's so many guys that are so vicious at 135, and then TJ's coming back, that it seems almost weird to have Yan be the champion. But that's the way it shook out, right? Yan is the champion. And so now, who's he going to take on next? And everyone assumed it was going to be Aljamain Sterling because that was the conversation. And all of a sudden, Dana won't confirm it's Aljamain Sterling. Okay. So I wonder what's going on there. We're going to come back to that. Simultaneously at 145, you have Volkanowski, who just, he won. He won. Again, I'm not going to be one of these ones that's going to complain about the outcome, even though I had a huge bet on Holloway. But per the ticky-tack scoring system, he may have won, right? There's not a decisive, whatever. We've talked about this at length. But he's the champion. Who's he going to fight next? Who's the next contender at 145? What's an exciting pay-per-view that you're going to buy if that particular 145-pound contender gets put in there? Who is it? Who is the big draw at 145? Crick, crick. That was a cricket sound, okay? There isn't one. I mean, you might be able to sell a good amount of pay-per-views if Ortega takes him on. I don't really know what the South Korean market looks like. Maybe if Korean Zombie wins that Ortega fight, there's a huge draw as, in South Korea or something. I don't know. But my guess is none of those are going to do gangbusters pay-per-views, whereby there is an option that might, and I believe that this is the same option that exists at 135 and 145, which is Triple C. Okay, so Triple C's barking now. He wants Volkanowski. He talked about Yan. He was like, be my placeholder down at 135. He wants Volkanowski. He called him an overgrown midget. I love that fight. I'm going to be honest. I love that fight. I love that fight. Triple C's a beast, dude. And if he thinks that he can go up at 145 and win, I don't think that we're in a position to question whether or not he should be given that fight, right? That right there, for sure, is the biggest pay-per-view. And Triple C is on the verge of being a superstar, okay? Like, bottom line, he is. He's right there. He's not quite Masvidal yet, but he's right there. And you give him a big fight where he goes up and tries to win a third consecutive belt while never having lost the other two at 145 in the middle of COVID with everybody locked down, Fight Island, that thing is going to go bananas. So if I'm making fights, I'm making that fight. That is the fight I am making. And does anybody honestly think that Triple C has no chance in that fight? Does anybody think that Triple C cannot win that fight? Because I would definitely push back on you on that. Definitely. Okay? He is a fast. I mean, he's very good in all the ways that Volkanowski's good, right? Volkanowski just carries a little bit more meat on him. Honestly, like, I think that fight is intriguing. I think Cejudo might even have the speed advantage. Cejudo, listen, I'm going to tell you something that I may or may not have said on this channel, but when we have my boy Christian on, he can confirm this. The fight when Cejudo came out and all of a sudden had the karate stance, right? I can't remember exactly who that was, but it was very distinct, where he went from, traditional stand-up, then all of a sudden he had a karate stance. That fight, after he knocked that dude out, I told Christian, like, he's going to be the champion. He's going to beat DJ. Look at how vicious he is now. He looked so good in that initial fight when he did the karate, like, so fast, so accurate. He looked like a different fighter, which he was. And he hasn't lost since then. And he's finished everyone he's fought, except for DJ, which I think he gets a pass on that, not finishing Demetrius Johnson. So he gets through Demetrius Johnson, and then has TJ come down, finishes him, goes up to 135, finishes Moraes, then defends and finishes, what's his name? Dominic Cruz. I think he deserves 145 shot because I think it's going to sell a lot of pay-per-views. What do we care about? It's a UFC, right? Because where we're going next, they're losing 110 million on the gate. We got to sell some pay-per-views, right? So let's sell that pay-per-view because everyone wants to see that fight. And Dana's not giving an answer on whether Aljamain is going to get the next shot at 135. That's exactly what's going on. He's with his matchmakers. Triple C's coming in. Triple C's going to fight. Okay, Triple C's going to fight. And geez, I mean, if anybody wants to remember what I said about this when he said he was retiring, I believe I did a video where I mimicked them on a car lot, right? Where Dana, the only negotiating tool you have when you're a fighter is I'm retired. So it's the same as walking off the lot without buying the car. I just don't think I'm going to buy the car today. And Dana's like, that's fine. We have other buyers. No, that's fine. Then I'm just going to go. He's like, no. You should absolutely go. We have lots of buyers. As a matter of fact, we're probably going to raise the price because we have so many buyers. We do not need you at all. We have so many buyers. Fine, but I mean, none of them were going to pay what I was going to pay. No, they will. They're going to pay more than you would. So it's fine. Just you have no value. You have no value here. So just go. Run along. I am going to run along. I'm the one who said I'm leaving. I know. That's what I'm saying. You should definitely go. Get out of here. I'm going. Go. Fine. Go. I'm going to. Go. I'm not coming back. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. I'm retired. I'm leaving. Bye. And he's back. Shocker. He wants to buy the car. Who could have seen that coming? So I would pay Triple C what he wants because that is going to sell some bananas pay-per-views. Give it to him, man. Let's go. And Aljamain deserves it at 135 if it's not Triple C. But listen, bottom line, if Triple C ends up fighting at 135, he's fighting for the belt. He's the champion. Peter Yan is a placeholder, okay? He is a placeholder. Now, what does that do with Triple C's contract? I mean, technically, if you don't have the belt, then you don't get the back end. Triple C is not coming back for a deal that is inferior to the deal that he had when he stepped down. Promise you that. Ali would be doing an awful management job if that was the case. And I know Ali does not do an awful management job. He does an excellent job. I got to do a video about him going straight at Ariel. Wow. I mean, that's a pretty direct. He pretty much said, hey, ESPN, all my collective. Matter of fact, we're going to do another video about that. So I'm going to upload that right after this one. But let's talk about now Dana White saying that they're going to lose 110. Well, let me just rephrase that. MMAfighting.com did an article saying that Dana says the UFC is going to lose $110 million this year due to no live gate. Okay, that is. I want to confirm that because I'm about to rail on them for that headline. Let me make sure that I'm quoting that correctly. Dana White, UFC probably losing $110 million with no live gate. Okay, so let me read that again. Dana White, quote, UFC probably losing $110 million with no live gate, but 2020 will still be a huge success. Okay, so I read that and I was like, what? Okay, how can you lose $110 million and 2020 still be a huge success? The argument being we're going to be stuck 110, but the brand is growing so huge that once we implement LiveGate again, then we're going to do really well. But I'm thinking that through. I'm like, the LiveGate, how many events do they do? Anyway, bottom line is These writers, they need to learn how to speak in business talk, okay? To anyone who knows business is going to read that and think that what they're saying is that the UFC as an organization is going to be down $110 for the year. That is what it says. Dana White with no live gate, UFC losing $110 million. That's not what he said. What Dana White said was they are making $110 million less than they would have if they had live gate. That is not the same thing. Okay, losing $110 million as an organization versus missing out on $110 million of revenue if you had XYZ, not the same thing. Not the same thing. Okay? Now, I realize the majority of MMA fans, there's not a huge distinction between those two things, but there is for me, and there is for people who know business. Okay, so like Dana's, and again, so they're not losing $110 million. They would have had $110 million additional dollars in overall gross revenue in 2020. So it's a meaningful number. It also demonstrates how much profit there is in this business. Okay, like if Dana's bottom line is down $110 from where it would have been, and he's still super stoked on 2020. This is a very profitable business. A very profitable business. I mean, we'll never find out exactly what it is because, listen, what UFC depends on to negotiate with the fighters is privacy. Okay, they can't have the if they had their profits public every year, right? If they were a publicly traded company and they had to submit a 10K and they had to say like, this is how much we profited in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and then you could tie those numbers back to events and you'd be able to back into how much profit that they made on these specific events. I mean, dude, the fighters would be like, what? The fighters would revolt. I mean, the fighters would revolt is my guess if they realized how much profit there is in the business. But again, they would revolt because they don't really understand. That should be expected. Like, of course, I mean, Masvidal's proving if you play hardball, that's the thing. Look at this is actually, I'm like talking myself in circles because I'm thinking triple tracking right now. But here's the deal. Here's what Masvidal proved. If you are worth it, if you are valuable, if you have genuine value to the UFC, then you have leverage to create a better deal for yourself. If you don't, you don't. Okay, like John Jones is holding out saying, I'm not going to fight, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what that probably means that they're not, banging him as much as they might. I mean, maybe they'll bang him, but it probably means that he is getting paid what he's worth. I mean, it's probably what it means. Maybe not, maybe he's not. I don't know. But I'm saying if they don't do anything about it, he's getting paid what he's worth. Now, the absence of John Jones and the absence of having him get paid what he's worth to bring in the extra eyes, that might impact the UFC's bottom line at a certain point to where they need to negotiate with him. But bottom line is, Masvidal proved if you have value and you play hardball, you can get paid. Okay. But again, if the numbers were public, I think the optics on that would rattle fighters a lot. If they're losing $110 million, Dana's still stoked. I would be very curious what their overall total, what their profit every year is. It's probably a lot, and they deserve it. They 100% deserve it. And also, you gotta keep in mind, man, these guys bought the company for $4 billion. They gotta get paid back. Do you know how much money $4 billion? You know what? Let me demonstrate it for you. How much time is 1 million seconds? Okay. So like I'm going to compare $1 million to $1 billion. 1 million seconds is like 12 days. Okay. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. Okay. So just to demonstrate a million versus a billion, 1 million seconds is 12 days. 1 billion seconds is 32 years. Okay. That is a massive difference, right? So when you bought the company for $4 billion, you gotta pay these guys back. I mean, they gotta get paid back. Although now they own an asset that's worth $8 billion, but it is what it is. Anyway, I have probably talked too long in this video, but I love you guys. I'm about to do another video about Ali Abdelaziz calling out Ariel Helwani. I have nothing to add. I'm just gonna call it out because I don't know. It's a crazy story. I should probably do some research, or maybe I'll just talk about it on the live. Because I'll just say this. Ali is directly trying to get Ariel fired. Okay, That is a direct trying to get Ariel fired move that he made. Straight up, no room for interpretation, okay? I don't know why he did it. If it really is because he just said that Leon Edwards should fight Burns for the #1 contendership, and he thinks that he's doing it to try to show loyalty to Conor. That's basically what he said. Actually, never mind. There is a video there. Anyway, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends. Let's go.